When we first went there, we didn't have a dock. We moved on up to some little island out there, Pribilof Island.
It's like I'm torturing him.
There's where the seals would migrate, and we'd watch that too. You know, make a turn around there and make sure that there wasn't any Japanese around there, you know.
The Japanese were there. On the 3rd and 4th of June 1942, the two small carriers of the Diversionary Force launched their aircraft against the American base at Dutch Harbor. Warned by radar, the Americans were ready.
No, it's having spell.
It's close?
The Aleutian Tigers were based at Fort
Yes!
Bragg, which was a secret airfield that the Japanese
Yeah,
didn't
that
know
came out
anything
really
about. They flew P-40s, and actually their commanding officer was Clark Chenault's son.
Moving
And
smart.
during the initial attack on Dutch Harbor, the 11th was
It's
not able
real.
to get into action. But later on, while the carrier force was still off Dutch Harbor, some Japanese float planes wandered over the base,
You
not
hear him sigh,
realizing
he's
there
like,
was a fighter airfield down there, and circled around until the
over with.
P-40s came up and shot them down.
We weren't in there, but we were out patrolling, and we came
I
in
can't
right
believe
after
this
they
is happening. Can't
they
believe
had
she's
hit
making
the,
my paws
Dutch Harbor.
pink.
They had a few buildings, you know, and
This is
stuff.
so horrible.
They didn't.
The
to
owner
me,
does
they didn't
this.
do that much
Tell me.
damage.
One of the
It's over with.
escorting fighter planes with the Japanese aircraft that went into the Aleutians lost power during its flight and had to make a crash landing on one of the Aleutian islands. And this plane was subsequently discovered by an American aircraft that was just flying through the area. The Americans then made a very careful effort
Put your
to
legs down.
salvage that Japanese aircraft in perfect condition. The Americans actually were able to conduct their own flight tests with the Japanese pilot. And due to that, they were able to find the Zero's weak points as a fighter plane. And do two things: not only evolve aerial tactics that maximize their potential against the weaknesses of the Japanese plane, but also use the knowledge of the Japanese aircraft's characteristics to improve the designs of our own fighter planes.
Ultimately, the loss of that 1-0 to anti-aircraft fire would more than compensate the United States for the damage inflicted by the Japanese at Dutch Harbor. The continued presence of Japanese float planes, combined with the sudden loss of communications with the weather stations at the far end of the Aleutian chain, alerted the American commanders that the Japanese had landed somewhere on the islands. This was confirmed on the 10th of June. A patrol plane spotted Japanese ships in Kiska Harbor. Another PBY reported landing forces on that too. It was clear that the Japanese had come to stay in the Aleutians. The American commanders in the Pacific now scrambled to counter this new Japanese move.
I know he moved
So we got
like
the-
that.
Where then they formed on the task force.
They took the first 18 names off the list, and they might not.
Look how
Nobody
ridiculous
wanted to go
he
north
is.
either.
You're making him look
Well, in any case, the ships did go into Dutch Harbor,
Polish.
and there was nothing. They were going to be put ashore, and they were going to have to build their whole environment.
While U.S. forces were
He
being
already knows
assembled,
what I'm gonna
Kiska
do.
Island was
just
bombarded
lying
by
down
the
there like
surface
he's
ships
dead.
the U.S. Navy could
He
spare from
knows
the Central
this is his
Pacific.
job.
Look at his chihuahua.
Aerial reconnaissance showed that the effects
What?
of this shelling
You
were
looking at, huh?
uncertain.
You lost.
The dangers inherent in such operations and the
Where else
ineffective
could I put it,
results
down here?
led the U.S. command to reconsider the best way to attack the Japanese. It was decided to subject the Japanese to sustained aerial
No, don't mess
bombardments
up.
until forces could be readied for a direct assault.
Messed up.
You could tell.
To provide an airbase from which to attack the Japanese
Oh,
islands,
snap.
U.S. forces occupied Adak Island in August of 1942.
I think that's good.
Almost
Is
as
that good?
soon as the troops were ashore, American engineers began work